Hey there folks, Kozzi here, drafting for Pick 1 Pack 1. We are currently at 4 and 2 with our Elysian Fliers decks. We survived a couple of close shaves and had a couple of... we got to see what the underside of a bulldozer looks like, let's put it that way. But we're still alive, we're still kicking. And so hopefully we can take this up through the platinum chest so it's easier for me to record the next one for you guys. I feel as though I've made my fair share of pretty good plays as well as a couple of pretty terrible plays there. And it just goes to show, you know, nobody's impervious from stupidity. This is an okay hand. It's only okay because all of my pieces of action are on 3, but I'm on the play, which forgives that a little bit. And I have 3 power, 4 spells, most of which I can cast, so whilst I'm not stoked about this hand, I'm happy with it. That was weird what just happened to the sound then. I'm not sure if you guys picked that up too, but sorry about that. I think that was actually the computer going weird and laggy. It's no 2 drop off our draw step, which is fair enough. We only had 6 out of 37 chance, so 1 out of 6. No value from the mentor, so instead we'll start off with our mini dinosaurs. They get a nice tempo play on us. Fortunately we have another with this Seek Power. Am I more likely to want my second primal? Am I more likely to want my third time or my first shadow? There's only one card in the deck that cares about shadow, and it is effective now, but I think I'd rather be playing to get my Wisdom of the Elders. I wish I had one more turn, but I want to be casting my Elysian Pathfinder next turn. So yeah, I think we'll grab the primal here. We all know what I'm going to be drawing the very next draw step, don't we? Do I want to trade? It's the kind of deck that could have Lightning Storm. It's the kind of deck that could have Quick Draw. I'm dropping a 3/3 next turn. No, I think I'm good. I'm happy to exchange 2 damage for 2 damage at this stage of the game. The Pathfinder should hold back this 2-1 from attacking, and we'll trade off with their 4/3 whilst getting some value. And then we can think about whether we want to be casting the Mentor for no value. The Mentor does hold back the Acolyte. That's not the worst in the world. I think we'll attack in and see if they want to trade. I sincerely doubt they will. But we can offer. And so I could cast 2 Eastwind Heralds, I could cast an Eastwind Herald and a Mentor. I'd rather keep my Mentor as long as I can. So I think the pair of Eastwind Heralds will be okay. If they happen to do something in addition to their draw step to make it a 3/3, then so be it, I'll take 3. But more likely I think this will just be a 2/2 that these guys can hold off. Wow, that ate some premium removal. I can't attack. Do I want to permafrost the flyer that's going to get bigger? It probably is going to become a significant problem. And allows me to do some cheeky stuff with my Ageless Mentor and Levitate. Yeah, okay, I think that's the way. It's a shame I don't get full value there, but... They might have a teleport effect. I think that's the only way they can save their Savant. And yeah, we were able to save that levitate. It can open up some very nice tricky blocks that make life uncomfortable. He now has a difficult decision of whether he'd rather get rid of the bigger creature or the flying creature. I was about to say I'd like to draw something other than power, but the Pillar of Amar isn't bad. So, I have the choice from before where I got in trouble of whether I wait until I draw an extra power to get my Pillar of Amar online or whether I just do it now. He's not going to be attacking whilst they have a double block available. And I could wait and just use my Scorpion Wasp to get rid of the 3/3. We're both in a top deck position. Yeah, if I'm not attacking, I think that's the tiebreaker for me. Because I'm not attacking, I want to try and get that value. If I had an attack in, I'd rather get my 5 damage happening. Now, I need to ask myself, do I want to take 3 damage? We can be trading 3 for 2 in the race. Or I could just be killing it now, but there is a reasonable likelihood that he's got scarier creatures than a 3/3 flyer, although it is also the one creature I can't deal with my pillar. And the pillar should be able to block most things other than a 3/3 flyer. Okay. So we have a lot of live draws right now. Ancient of Lore is nice. And I think I still want to hold back the pillar. It's not as though they're representing anything that's particularly scary right now. Predator's Instinct is not super interesting. It could be used to kill the Amethyst Acolyte so I can get in for some damage. But beyond that, not really. It does allow my Pillar of Amar to start to deal with other cards though. You know, like next turn if we draw a power, Pillar of Amar, Predator's Instinct, kill whatever you've just played that scares me, that's pretty sweet. And I feel as though one of these will be able to hold back the 2/1. You've got to stop. What spell could you have? Wisdom of the Elders, Levitate. Lightning Strike. That's a great draw if we had a Shadow Sigil. The fact that he has a stop makes me nervous. The fact that the board state hasn't changed makes me happy to just keep using this. Yeah, I'm taking the 1. Okay, that's the kind of card I wanted to draw. What we'll do is, rather than casting the Primal Sigil this turn, we'll hold on to it for next turn so we can play the Pillar of Amar. Okay, the clock got a little bit too menacing then for you. Yeah, we'll hold on to it for next turn so I can cast the Pillar of Amar and just get full value. And that way we can hopefully get 2 5/5s out of it rather than just 1. And if the 5/5 has to block a spider, okay, it's effectively an upside on playing a Sigil. And that's a deal that I'm happy to accept, rather. I'll be curious to see whether they put an extra card on top here. It's a good target for my Pillar of Amar Predator's Instinct, though. No, so they like the cards they have. I like this guy. He's being nice and friendly when someone does something sweet. And now, hopefully, this should be my opportunity to start to really turn this game. It should keep the Direfang Spider on the back foot, and I should be able to just start attacking in with 5/5s each turn. And that's a pretty difficult proposition to deal with. I have no interest in losing this to quick draw. I'll take the 2 every single time. And I don't have any creatures for the Twinning Ritual to use, which is a little bit of a shame. You are so awesome, White Fang. Oh, mate. Total respect. I'm really enjoying playing against you. Thanks for making this so fun. Am I worried about 2 damage a turn? I think I currently have a faster clock. Do I want to twinning the Bold Adventure? I might as well get my value out of it. They could double block to kill my 5/5, but I don't care. That's perfectly fine by me. And yeah, this is my extra 5/5 that I've been able to get. It didn't look as though they had any removal, so it could have been argued that I could have played my Pillar of Amar before, but he just would have sat there twiddling thumbs, to be perfectly honest. He wouldn't have been attacking, so I think all I've done is just remove the pressure that I was otherwise feeling. Twinning now. Is it worth continuing to commit to the board? Yeah, I'd like to commit a little bit more. I just want to shut this door. I won't put out the whole thing. There could be some unusual cards that I'm not expecting. And right now the question is, how do I lose this game? And the answer is by getting myself blown out by some kind of wipe or removal. I know that they're not the colours that have a lot, but considering I went arrogant and didn't consider my risk profile before, and very nearly lost the game because of it, I think I'd like to do that now. If I attack in and I freeze this, I have lethal, so this is the turn that I think I want to do it. Thank you very much for that game, White Fang. That was awesome fun, mate. that was fantastic. And we're almost back in the top 100 after playing around with Jinxie's deck, which was also a lot of fun. I'm not complaining about that at all. Sweet, that takes us up to win number 5. Let's see if we can add 1 or 2 more. I do love the bwahahaha. There's been a couple of times where I've been paired randomly up against real life friends, and being able to bwahaha straight out of the gates. It's a small pleasure, but sometimes in life you just need to take those small pleasures. Sorry if that got a bit echoey. I realised I probably shouldn't talk whilst drinking tea at the same time. This is a really curious hand. It's 1 power, but I can seek power for my 2nd power, seek power for my 3rd. And then I've got some quite good plays to make, although I'm in trouble on the colours that I need, because I'll need to get both a primal. Ooh, and I do have my Twin Brood. I think I've got a lot of card advantage here, and if I'm able to just wait a little bit on the seeks, like right now, what I've got is the quintessence of card advantage. And I think what I can afford to do is I can cast my primal, then I can go get the shadow, and by the time we draw an extra sigil, gives me 1 extra turn, but then I don't get to cast my 2/1 on curve. But I also have a 1/3, so in effect I'm only half a turn down, but 1 extra. Half a turn down on my clock, but 1 extra opportunity to see if I can get a power sigil that I want. Yeah, I'm happy with that exchange. I would have been happier if I'd gotten a 2/3, so then I didn't feel as though I was missing out. Okay, so that's good. It means I can play my Primal Sigil this turn, cast my 2/1 Flyer, and then next turn, grab what I want, plus the 3-drop. I think I attack in because worst case scenario they don't block. Well, best case scenario they don't block, worst case scenario they block. And what it also does is if they don't play a relic next turn, it can condition them from me attacking that could be a chump attack again, and it opens up Plague to blow them out. Because this guy, in Combrei colors, I can't imagine them having too many flyers that I need to worry about. So I'm drawing sigils, but it's not necessarily the ones that I want. If I don't play for Plague, then next turn I can get the Twin Broods down, although I've got plenty to do with my power, with my Air Force. I think we'll do the same attack again and just see what they do. So I think this is where I want to Plague. I can get rid of their flyer that can get bigger and become a problem, and then just tank the board with flyers. I'll draw a time sigil sooner or later. I'll definitely draw it faster than drawing my shadow. Yeah, I think that's my game. I just play a metric ton of flyers. That hurts a little bit. And now I'm happy to race. If they cast the 1/4, the Karmic Guardian, that's when this plan looks bad. But until then, if I draw another power, I can drop a pair of Hatchlings. It's an unorthodox line, but we got him on a 3-turn clock. I'm taking 9. Do I want to chump block? If I chump block, I can attack for another 5, otherwise I can attack for 7 versus their 9, play myself another blocker. 7 doesn't quite speed up the clock. It's still a 3-turn clock. Alright, we jump. They have a combat trick. I wonder what it can be. Now he represents a problem because I don't want them gaining life. That helps me with that problem. I tell you what, this race is nerve-wracking. They've built out well and I've paid a bit. So I'll be taking 9-11 going down to 8, so I think we chump block again. If we don't, I can attack for 7. But I think attacking for 5 is still fine. It's just that now we've run out of things we can do. Ah dear, okay, that changes this race a little bit. If I attack for 5, still a 3-turn clock, but now I can represent killing some of their creatures. In fact, I can more than represent, I can actually kill some of their creatures. I actually suspect they have a combat trick here, so I don't think I want a Predator's Instinct. So I'm glad I didn't there. It does mean that I'm in trouble in this race a little bit now. But they're not gaining life, and that's an attack for 14, 16. Okay. So we made the wrong decision attacking there. Them gaining 3 life hurt us. Gemblade was a nice draw as well. Very nice draw. Perhaps the hand was flawed from the start. No. Well, yeah, I got sprung for not being able to have that second time. If I would have taken the time instead of the shadow there, I wouldn't have been able to get my value. They never played a relic weapon, although I wasn't to know that. And I could have started playing my 5/4s early, which meant that, I never would have gotten beaten down. So I think the mistake that I made there was taking the shadow sigil rather than the time sigil. Like we ended up drawing 2 primal in a row rather than the time, but that's fair. And if we'd drawn something like Marison's rather than the Ancient Law, indeed any of our 2s. Yeah, we had a lot of live draws that we could have drawn otherwise. Even a second Permafrost or a Stormlynx or... Yeah. I think I was right to assume against Combre that I could win the race in the air. But they also had like that dinosaur for a 5-drop. Normally you're up against a 4/4 rather than a 6/5. I could have had the options of double dropping against any other creature. Perhaps I had to reassess and hold back my triple or double blocks. Ah, sweet. Shiny Levitate. Anyway, folks, there you go. That was my Elysian Flyer / midrange. I'll open up the packs. Let's take a quick look. In this pack, I'm very excited to see a Permafrost. I'm happy to see a Stormlynx, but I don't want to be committing to 2 colors too early. Diplomatic Seal is okay, but it's not the best for... not the best form of color fixing. Otherwise, we're looking at the Deserter and the Thornbeast, but currently it's Permafrost. And the Westwind Herald isn't better than a Permafrost in my opinion, so that's a relatively easy first pick. Ooh, we have an epic here which could be interesting. Bladekin Apprentice is great if you want to be getting aggressive, and so yeah, I like building around that archetype, so I think that would be tempting me. Magus is okay, Shield's okay, Obsidian Golem's okay, Nesting Avasor is good, but again, double colored, don't necessarily want to be committing that soon. Or I could be casting a 10 cost 8/8 with triple primal. It looks sweet, but I don't know how many drafts I've ever gotten to 10 power. Maybe 1 out of 5. To be honest, I'll probably be picking it just to see how well it did, and I'll be trying to go into Elysian so I could get as much ramp as possible. Try and build around it to make it as good as I could. If this were, say, a tournament scenario, I think I'd probably just go with the boring Bladekin. Smuggler's Sash is fun. Only Quartermaster is a great way to start your Stone Scar equipment build, although Silverwing Familiar is also very good as well. I like the idea of aggression with card draw, so I think I'd probably be taking the Quartermaster even though it's more vulnerable than the Silverwing. I would respect that a lot of people would disagree with me. I think this is just my personal preference rather than perhaps what is the best card to pick. Does this make my life easy? Alright, that makes my life a bit easier. The Paladin's Oathbook is a card that I've been itching to play with. It's listed as an S-tier bomb. I don't believe it's that good, but I do believe it's fun, and I do believe it creates interesting deck building decisions. It is one of those cards that doesn't affect the battlefield straight away, and so that is a drawback. But there are a lot of 3-cost 3/3s in this game where they gain an ability if they get +1/+1, which is exactly what Pally's Oathbook does. And so if you can build around them and get your life gain as well as your quick draw, I feel as though you could build a pretty fun deck that's built around this. And finally, Sapphire Dragon is pretty hard to go past. 6s at the top end of the curve that I think is affordable and realistic rather than 10. And this is just very hard to beat. It's outside of bolt range, torch range, sorry. I should be careful with my language. And it's almost guaranteed, like it's got double evasion. It's got flying as well as overwhelm, which is phenomenal. Renegade Valkyrie is another card that I'd be very tempted in, but again, double color. And Ephemeral Wisp is interesting if you want to be building a pure control deck. I think this would be the kind of card that I'd be happy to pick 4 or something once I know that I'm looking to go a bit slow. because this will do your opponent's heads in. It does my head in ranked. But yeah, sweet. So folks, there was your Elysian mid-range and a couple of packs to boot. Yeah, I definitely made some mistakes. And I think that probably cost me a match or two. But yeah, sweet deck. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you would have done differently. I'm sure that there's a couple of different lines that I could have taken there. Anyway, I've been Kozzi drafting for Pick 1 Pack 1. I hope you've enjoyed this particular video series, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one.